Hey everyone, it's Josh from Guardian Train Consulting. You'd be surprised about how many people have bought guns recently and they don't know how to take them apart or how they actually work. So in this video series, we're going to break down the two most popular weapon systems on the market right now, the AR-15 style platform and the Glock platform. Okay everyone, what we're going to do today is actually go over the Glock 17 Gen 5, which is one of the more popular style of handguns on the market today. So we're going to actually go through the disassembly and a reassembly of this actual firearm. So the first thing we always do when we actually take apart a firearm and clean and disassemble it is we always ensure that it's unloaded. We never clean a loaded firearm. So in this example, I'm just going to take it out of my holster. Okay. The first thing we do is we remove the ammunition supply or the magazine. This is a magazine, not a clip. Clips load magazines, magazines load firearms. So if you just understand the difference. So the first thing we're always going to do after we've removed the magazine is we're going to push upwards on our slide stop and then lock the slide to the rear. What the slot that does is it actually allows us to see inside the chamber to look for another round. So we visually and physically check that there's no magazine present and visually and physically check that there's no round present. Now that the firearm is rendered unloaded and we are good to go, now we can start the disassembly process of the actual firearm. So the way I like to take apart a Glock is I let the slide go forward, I pull back on the Glock slide just ever so slightly, pull down on both the slides, the takedown levers, and then let the slide go forward. And now what you'll see is your takedown levers are halfway downwards. And then all you do is press the trigger and the slide comes off. Once you have the slide assembly off, the frame is now disassembled to its most bits, okay? Then what we're going to do is actually remove the captured recoil spring, and in your Glock 17 Gen 5s or your Gen 5 Glocks are gonna have a captured recoil spring, and then remove the barrel. So your Glock comes in 4 pieces. The first one is your frame, recoil spring and recoil spring guide, which is captured, your barrel, and then your slide. So now that we've disassembled our Glock into those 4 major pieces, this is what we call field stripping. So this is the basic disassembly for a user. Now me as a Glock certified Glock armorer, I can actually take this down to the 34 parts and break it down even further, so I can remove the sear block and the locking block. But as a user, this is all you're going to break it down to. So how we reassemble any firearm is we're just going to reverse the process of the disassembly. So first thing we're going to start with is our slide. Then we're going to take our barrel. Okay, we're going to have on the locking lugs. These are what we call the locking lugs on the front part of that, on the top part of the slide. So if we have our slide and it's inverted, we're going to keep those locking lugs straight up, and then we're just going to push the barrel into the locked position. Then you're going to take your recoil spring and place that into the recoil spring sleeve in your slide, and then push that recoil spring down into that slot right there on the locking lug. Then the last part we're going to do is take our our whole slide assembly and place that on the frame. And then we're going to line up all the frame and the slide, and then lock the gun to the rear. The last part we do to ensure that the firearm is functioning perfect, we're going to, again, make sure it's completely safe and unloaded. We're going to press the trigger. The gun's going to go click. So now the actual striker dropped. We're going to have our finger still on the trigger. We're going to cycle the gun, and then we're going to allow the trigger to go forward so that it resets the trigger, and then press the trigger again. So that ensures that the firearm is functioning properly after we've disassembled it.